Good evening. I'd like to call to order the April 29th, 2019 Old Bridge Township Council meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Please remain standing for a moment of silence and for our prayer. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
As customary in this chamber, we stand for a moment to remember those who are protecting our freedoms, both here and abroad, for our first responders, and for those who have made the ultimate sacrifice. A moment of silence, please. Mr. Piscitty, our prayer.
O Lord, bless thy servants in the ministry of public affairs who serve thee in this chamber. Give them quiet minds and hearts that they may hear thy voice. Help them to know when to speak, when to be silent. Give them strength to oppose the wrong and uphold the right. And grant that they have a good conscience and soul at peace with thee and one another. Amen.
Amen. Please be seated.
Thank you. This meeting is being held in conformance with the Open Public Meetings Act. Notice has been given to the newspaper, and notice of the meeting has been posted in public places. Next open public meeting of the council will be held on Monday, May 13, 2019, at 7:30 p.m. Mrs. Brown. Here.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Cahill.
Here.
And Dr. Greenberg. Here. Mr. Merwin.
Present.
Mr. Murphy.
Here.
Mr. Piscitty.
Here.
Mr. Rizzoli.
Here.
Mrs. Walker.
Here.
President Soha.
Here.
9 present.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the meeting. We will begin first with the mayor and our proclamations. Mayor Henry.
Thank you, Council, and welcome, everyone. Tonight, we have presentations and recognition of all the people that helped with the mayor's 5K run a few weeks ago, and it was such a huge success. And I think tonight shows just what an effort it was, a township-wide effort that it took to pull this off. We have a number of certificates to present tonight. We're going to try to, in the best interest, I'm going to bring Rose Marie up, please, in case Lenny to come up. David Hernandez, please come up. We'll get through this, Council, as fast as we can, but I felt it was important that we show our appreciation. I publicly put a letter out thanking all our volunteers already, our first responding agencies that helped pull this off, our fire departments, our emergency rescue, OEM. It was just a tremendous effort. So tonight, we're going to just pay recognition to some groups and individuals that I think we should. Rosemary, please take over. You want to say a few words?
Sure.
David?
Thank you, Mayor Henry. Welcome, everyone. I just want to say that March 30th was spectacular. Everything about it really was. I was very proud to be part of an amazing team, and it took a team to make such a successful event happen. Beside me is David Hernandez. He is with Old Bridge, all around Old Bridge in the funeral parlor. And we have Casey Lenning, who is the supervisor of Public Works. As runners prepare for the race 3 months, 4 months out to build their stamina and their speed and their endurance, we too collaborated as a group, and it was a very large group. It wasn't just the three of us. We kind of oversaw the logistics of it, but it took everyone. It took our OEM. It took our police. It took our fire marshals. It took CERT. It took EMS, all of us collaboratively to put this together to make sure that the day not only was successful, but safe for everyone. So it not only us and all of those emergency services, it also took our department heads. We had Matt Mercurio from Parks and Rec. We had, there you go, Kyle Harris. We drove around to make sure the route was safe. Like, there's a lot that goes into it you don't even realize. Steve Mamakis, also Economic Development, because we also had a lot of our businesses that showed us the support. And one of the great things about this administration is we do form a lot of public-private partnerships that really help for us to build different things in our community. And it's without the businesses and without the community going to these small businesses and helping to support them, they're able to help and support us. There's a business owner here that I would like to acknowledge. It's Max Challenge. And if you could please stand up. Rich and Maureen. They were one of our main sponsors, but not only were they the main sponsors helping us financially to put this off, tell us how many people you had come and participate in the race. Close to 200 people they got to sign up for the race. So it's pretty spectacular. Thank you for your support. We had a lot of businesses also that show their support. We had the Mayor's Health and Wellness Fair afterwards, which was also great. A lot of businesses donated food and water. We were just very blessed, and we were blessed with a great day. So without further ado, I just would like to call your attention to the screens just for a quick little preview, which is actually compliments of All Around Old Bridge. Their cinematographer had put this together, a little preview of what the day was like.
The enthusiasm that you showed this morning. I appreciate you coming out and supporting this event.
I want to thank everyone for coming this morning. Mayor Henry asked for a glorious day, and Mayor Henry got what Mayor Henry asked for.
Hometown! Yeah! Our veterans, our hometown! Yeah! Our active military, our hometown! Yeah! Our first responders, our hometown! Yeah! And we are here because of our hometown! Yeah! All right!
And that's really what the day was about, our hometown heroes, our first responders. When the alarms go off in the middle of the night, we're rolling over in the safety of our beds, and a lot of them are pulling out of their beds and leaving the safety of their homes to go and to save and help somebody, a member of the community. So we thank all of our first responders. We wouldn't be a successful community as we are if it wasn't for each and every one of them. So thank you. Also, the ROTC, as you saw, was there, and they presented colors. We were just very fortunate. We live in a great community, and it was just a very proud day. OB 5K proud. So without further ado, because I know you have a long agenda here, what we will do, because there are so many volunteers here for the sake of time, I just will show you the certificate that Mayor Henry has for each and every one of you that have volunteered. And it's actually amazing. First of all, if you see how many volunteers are here, this doesn't even do it justice. We have over 75 people from our community who came out to help with that event. It also gave a wonderful opportunity for the members of our community. As a parent of this community, I have children, and the children are always looking for different opportunities to come out and volunteer. So through the township and us providing different kind of programming like this, through that Mayor's Health and Wellness Council, through Cultural Arts, through Parks and Rec, all the different programs that we offer, we're able to offer the community other ways to come out and assist us and also earn their volunteer hours. And adults too, and we've been getting a lot of phone calls. A lot of adults are looking to come and volunteer. So we thank you for your time. I can't thank you enough. If it wasn't for all of you, this wouldn't have happened as successful as it was. There was not one injury. There was not one mishap, right? That's like, thank God. We had gorgeous weather, and we had a very successful run. Originally, when we sat down in the first logistics meetings, they said, oh, maybe you'll get 100 people. We were over 500 people for our first race. So thank you very much. I just want to call all the volunteers, if you can come up so we could get a photo op. Do you mind if we have all of you come up and we'll do one big photo, okay? Come on up, everyone. And I'm also the photographer, so I'm going to take the picture.
It's my knee. I'll be back at it. You got a 5K on Sunday. This Sunday? Yeah. It's Central State. Hey, jump on it. Jump on it. Oh, yeah. Now you can retire. Yeah, it was great. Want me to tell them to go out to the front? Yeah, I'm going to tell them all to go to the front so that they can get. We'll see.
Great evening. Thank you so much.
Okay, volunteers, if you want your certificate, please meet out in the lobby. We don't want to take up any of the council meeting's time or make any commotion. So if you were a volunteer, you could just meet outside and we will go ahead and get you your certificates. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. All right, bye-bye. Thank you. Thanks, Steve. Yeah, yeah, thank you. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you very much to all the volunteers and all the hard work that went into doing that 5K. Thank you so much. Okay, next we'll be doing a presentation. This is the Redevelopment Agency update.
Thank you, Council.
Good
We have a
evening.
presentation tonight from the Redevelopment Agency. I think it's important that the public and the council also, and these meetings are open to the public, where they can come and see what the Redevelopment Agency has been working on for the past couple of years. The Redevelopment Agency was dormant for quite a while, and we've redeveloped the Redevelopment Agency, as they say. And I know some of the council, I think, needs some information about especially one of the larger pieces of property that's in the redevelopment area, known as the Crossroads, which is a little unique in that the township owns the property.
Right.
It was earmarked for economic development years ago, I believe by Mayor Cannon's administration.
Yes.
It was a break-off of, I believe, the settlement with Olympia, New York at the time. So we're going way back. We're going way, way back. The land has been talked about in the past for a training facility for an NFL team. It was talked about data centers for the telecommunications industries, but nothing has come to, as they say, to a deal. Over the past couple of years, there's been some interest in the property. But as I said before, with the uniqueness of the property, we want to make sure whatever happens on that property is in the best interest of the taxpayers who own the property. That's a unique, we hold, as they say, the upper hand with this property. I would like to see it developed in the best way that meets, like I said, the residents of Old Bridge, the needs, and I think economic development in that parcel makes sense for just about everyone. So the redevelopment agency is working on some concept plans. Obviously, at the end of the day, the council is going to make the decision whether to sell the property or not. So I think that's why it's important that the redevelopment agency has some direction about what the council would like to see on that parcel. So without further ado, I'll hand it over to Glenn Dantino. Thank you, Glenn. I appreciate you guys being here tonight. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mayor. I also have another one of my commissioners here, Eric DePalma. He's going to be helping me out tonight. Good evening, Council President and Council. First, let me introduce myself. My name is Glenn D'Antuno. I am the current chairman of the redevelopment agency. I have been a part of this redevelopment agency since its inception as a commissioner, and in the past years as it has been active again. This year, in January, I was elected as chairman. First, let's start with a short video that Mr. Mamakis has provided. Then we're going to have a small review of what's going on in our redevelopment agency. The video is showing the different types of global developers that has a current interest in Old Bridge now at the Crossroads property. The company currently is a warehouse company that currently owns about 182 million square feet of space across the nation. What I am showing you tonight is a very, very early concept. All right, there's still a lot more room to go. Okay, so Mr. Mamakis cannot attend tonight, so I'm going to be working with Eric and myself. Tony, who's also a member of the redevelopment agency, Councilman Piscitti. Mr. Mamakis was here in front of the council at the beginning of the year with the agency's update and provided kind of an accurate summary of the different projects that were going on. Okay, there's multiple projects within the town. We are here tonight to discuss some of the recent questions and comments that were raised on the March 11th council meeting, concerning statements relating to the agency's transparency and to address relationship differences between the redevelopment agency and the Economic Development Office. The redevelopment agency is a group of dedicated volunteer members that work and help direct Steve, our executive director, to research, explore possibilities, and help shape and vet development projects of any size for the future of our township. The research, exploration, prototype development, and vetting are dictated by the redevelopment zones that are distinguished and approved by the town council. Any projects that reach a formal and finalized development phase will ultimately still come to this council for final approval. So you guys do have final vote on that. When it comes to the redevelopment agency is there to filter and help vet work through the projects at different phases to make sure that it's right for the future, so both the developer's time is not wasted and neither is the resources of our townships and their professionals. Okay? When it comes to economic development, it works in conjunction with the redevelopment agency. It but it is not a function of the redevelopment agency. It's separate, but it works together. Okay? Economic development is led by Steve Mamakis, and his primary work is fostering business growth in Old Bridge. Mr. Mamakis stated to me, the Economic Development Office gets calls from many parties interested in Old Bridge via the high-profile branding and marketing campaigns and the current energized business interest in Old Bridge, all related to the aggressive economic development initiatives tied to the EDO strategic plan. This is what has fostered this positive interest in this town. Inquiries do come from other departments, sources in town and in cases. If someone is interested in land, they are routinely routed accordingly to the property owner. If the township owns the land, then it is forwarded to the redevelopment agency for review. Also, the commissioners provide input into areas they feel should be in review for a potential area of redevelopment, and that's an important step. As for the guidelines, the agency follows an outline process that's defined by the New Jersey Local Housing Authority and redevelopment agencies. If inquiries come in that are interested in areas that are designated as an area of redevelopment, this is where our agency gets involved on those projects. So not every project comes to the redevelopment agency. Some of them are not zoned for it. The last report Mr. Mamakis covered covered the projects the agency was working on. So just so we're all aware, the agency entered into agreement with the past developer for the Crossroads project from the previous administration that invested a large sum in the previous plan for data centers on the property. Given the data centers market had changed, to be fair, the agency had a conditional redevelopment present another plan. Okay, they presented the agency with the current trend in which the state was apartments. In speaking with the company performing the appraisal of the property, this was slated as the highest and best use for sale that would provide the best rateable for the township, for township-owned land. The Crossroads project, to clarify, is the largest piece of township-owned land at 359 acres and has been under several development projects for many years. The past year, it was under a conditional redevelopment, Edgewater Properties, which called the project Deep Run. The developer promised the highest and best use of this land. In March 19th of 2018, this council voted and approved the non-binding resolution 138-18, which limited the housing of this project to senior housing. This non-binding resolution at that time already limited the highest and best uses for this location and put a strain on the negotiations with this conditional redeveloper. After months and years of negotiations and due diligence, our agency in February of 2019 had a conclusion that the highest and best use is not of the best interest of the future of Old Bridge, and the proposed development plan did not fit all the requirements that our agency put forward towards the developer. This determination was concluded through monthly public meetings and progress presentations to this council. We voted to remove the conditional redeveloper status of Edgewood Properties. So when on March 11, 2019 council meeting, our agency was accused by a councilman of the lack of due diligence and transparency, this is a false statement. If our agency was not transparent in our progress and had not had due diligence, this council would never have voted on the non-binding resolution. Though I do feel confident our agency and our commissioners still would not have allowed this project to go past the phase it was ended in. Now currently, with our town no longer having a conditional redevelopment for the Crossroads projects, we can look for the best use of this project. One of the steps was to have some insight into the council members on the future of Old Bridge. This is why our agency has asked Steve to put out the survey, okay? Only 4 council members have responded to that survey as of right now. Okay, so if you still have it, please respond. It does help us with the direction. Okay? So the purpose of providing the survey was to bring the council into the exploratory process. and provide input and guidance to this agency, in this case, to get a sense of the members' view and related overall exploration of a development plan by the redevelopment agency. So the agency has clear direction to be guided prior to developing any RFP and not wasting any time and effort on a plan that would not be favorable to the council in the end. This can be considered saving taxpayers money in the long run. Mr. Mamakis has discussed the parcel with other interested parties, such as the video you have earlier, and had conversations with Hackensack Meridian related for future expansion of medical office space, and have brought these discussions to the board also. Our agency will continue to operate in transparency to put forward the best plan for our council. So to summarize, the previous plan of apartments were considered the best and highest use in this market. As per the appraiser, the developer's agreement recently expired for the property. The agency re-entered with the redeveloper from past administration only out of fairness. In March of 2018, the council rejected apartments on the site. In December of 2018, the developer's agreement expired. In February of 2019, the agency voted to finalize the release of the conditional redevelopment for this Crossroads project. At the beginning of the year, the survey was sent out, and we're just waiting a response. So lastly, and in conclusion, our meetings are always public, and all are invited. Our next meeting's on May 23rd at 6 p.m. in Conference Room 201. And if anybody ever has any questions, you're welcome. I'm an open book. You can come and talk to me. Thank you, everybody, for your time.
Thank you very much. Council, does anyone have any comments or questions? Dr. Greenberg?
I would just like to say that the MUA, the Municipal Utility Authority, has already invested approximately $8 million into this property for water and sewer. So I think they realize, and partnering with the township, how important this area of redevelopment is. And if not, I don't think they would have invested that type of money into that area.
Thank you, and we are aware of that too, Anita.
Pescetti?
Councilman Pescetti?
Yeah, hi. Also, I believe it was JCP&L ran power to that area, right? Yeah.
Yes, that is true.
Right. Anyone else? No? Okay, well, thank you. Yes, yes, Mr. Cahill.
Yeah, so thank you for the presentation.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. I think it was a good job, and it's great that we have, agencies and things that come to the council, and because not everybody can get to a redevelopment agency meeting, and I think it was a good overview. I appreciate the transparency, right? I was one of the ones at the last council meeting that said I thought you guys were transparent, because I didn't feel like the development agency was, quite frankly, in the past. So I appreciated the fact that I was given an opportunity as a council person to, to at least give you my views on what would be a good fit for that tract of land. So I appreciate that. And the thing I want to reinforce, which is really important, what you said, is that you're not operating in a vacuum. Anything that occurs comes back to the council. It's in full display of the public. So I want all the public to understand that this is not a subculture kind of organization. It's all being vetted. It comes back before the public, and anything that happens will be vetted in public in front of the residents of Old Bridge. So
Absolutely.
Thank you for the presentation.
Anyone else? Okay. The comments by also saying thank you for coming this evening and for your presentation. I think it's good to keep in communication with the public, and I do think that you have a very good grasp on what you're trying to do here. You're all volunteers, you're all people who live here in Old Bridge, who have made their home here and want to see what's best for the town. So we do appreciate you coming and giving us the updates, and we look forward to working with you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Next will be our bill list, Mrs. Walker. Minutes. Oh, I'm sorry, excuse me, minutes. Yeah. Why don't I have the minutes on here still? No? Okay, there are no minutes, okay, that's why. Okay, so no minutes, so we'll go forward, we'll go with the bill listing. Mrs. Walker?
Accounts payable, April 29, 2019, $15,970,455.17.
Do I have a motion?
Move it.
Second.
Moved by Dr. Greenberg, second by Mrs. Walker.
Mrs. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Cahill?
Yes.
And Dr. Greenberg?
Yes.
Mr. Merwin? Yes. Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Piscitty?
Yes.
Mr. Rizzoli?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
President Soho?
Yes.
9 yes.
Payroll, April 12, 2019, $983,527.47.
Do I have a motion?
Second.
Moved by Mr. Rizzoli, second by Mrs. Walker.
Mrs. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Cahill?
Yes.
And Dr. Greenberg?
Yes.
Mr. Merwin?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Piscitty?
Yes.
Mr. Rizzoli?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
President Soho?
Yes.
9 yes.
Payroll overtime, April 12, 2019, $31,643.24.
Do I have a motion?
Move it.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Murphy, second by Mrs. Walker. Mr. Shaw, can we have a breakout?
Thank you. As Councilwoman Walker indicated, the total overtime for this pay period was $31,643.24. We had an uptick in both buildings, Public Works and the Parks Department related to the 5K run. For the Police Department, the total overtime for the sworn officer was $21,779.60. When you deduct for grants, $1,594.20, and deduct for ETO, $6,545.57. The net overtime for the officers were $13,639.83, representing 364.25 men and women hours. There was no officer injured on duty this pay period.
Thank you, Mr. Shaw.
Mrs. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Cahill?
Yes.
And Dr. Greenberg?
Yes.
Mr. Merwin?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Piscitty?
Yes.
Mr. Rizzoli?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
President Soho?
Yes.
9 yes.
Payroll, April 26, 2019, $921,960.74.
Do I have a motion?
Move it.
Moved by Dr. Greenberg Belli, second by Mr. Rizzoli.
Mrs. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Cahill?
Yes.
And Dr. Greenberg?
Yes.
Mr. Merwin?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Piscitty? Mr. Rizzoli?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
President Soho?
Yes.
9 yes.
Payroll overtime, April 26, 2019, $50,883.68.
Do I have a motion?
I'll move it.
Okay, moved by Mrs. Walker, second by Mr. Rizzoli. Mr. Shaw, can we have a breakout, please?
Yes. Thank you, Council President. Again, as Councilwoman Walker indicated, the total overtime for this pay period was $50,883.68. There was an uptick in recreation and arena. In recreation, it was, they had field work getting ready for the season. And in arena, they had a hockey tryout. For the police department, the total overtime for the sworn officer was $28,341.49. When you deduct for grants, $5,021.64, and deduct for ETO, $5,537.98. The net overtime was $17,781.87, representing 429.25 man and women hours. There was no officer injured on duty this pay period either.
Thank you, Mr. Shaw.
Mrs. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Cahill? Dr. Greenberg?
Yes.
Mr. Merwin?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Piscitty?
Yes.
Mr. Rizzoli?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
President Soho?
Yes.
9 yes.
That concludes the bill list.
Thank you, Mrs. Walker. Next will be public hearings and ordinances for second reading. The first one is H1, person to person, place to place. Liquor license transfer number 1209-33-010-013. Old Bridge Holdings 111 LLC to Brooklyn Hospitality Management LLC, trading as Feast Italian Kitchen, Brazilian Steakhouse. Good evening.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Thomas Janaron, representing Mr. Steve Bada, who's the managing member of Brooklyn Hospitality Management.
Good evening.
How are you, counsel?
Everything's in order. I have
Okay.
all the paperwork, everything's fine.
All right, is there anyone from the council that has any questions? Anyone from the public wish to be heard?
Mr. Cahill.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Cahill, excuse me.
I just want to wish you good luck. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yep,
Appreciate
welcome.
that.
Okay, anyone in the public? No? Anyone else on council? Okay, Dr. Greenberg? No one? Oh, okay, all right, so then do I have a motion?
Move it.
Okay, so moved by Mr. Cahill, second by Dr. Greenberg Belli.
Mrs. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Cahill?
Yes.
And Dr. Greenberg?
Yes.
Mr. Merwin?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Pescetti?
Yes.
Mr. Rizzoli?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
President Soho?
Yes, and good luck. Congratulations.
Thank you again, counsel. We appreciate it.
Have a good evening. H2, Release Reduction Performance Guarantee, Divine Ventures Development, LLC, Block 6017.11, Lots 1 and 2, application number 102-06P. Good evening, Mrs. Shapiro.
Good evening. Thank you, Council President. This was an application called Divine Ventures Development LLC. It was in front of our planning board years ago. It was to develop a fully wooded site along Bordentown Avenue as a office/warehouse building, containing 3,750 square feet on the first floor and the second floor, combined 7,500 square feet for the total building. The site actually includes site improvements such as a parking lot with 27 spaces, curbing, stormwater management facility, and also landscaping. The total performance guarantee that was posted on the project was $331,908.12, of which in the form of a bond was $298,717.31. Cash portion was $33,190.81. And there have been no previous reductions to the performance guarantee on this project. I am sitting with George Allen, our consultants from Remington and Vernick, who did inspect the site on the behalf of the engineering department, and as of today, have not received any complaints as to the improvements on the property. We just ask that any outstanding escrow fees be posted. I do note that in my letter it says freehold soil conservation compliance is required, but I have received that as of today, and because it's a private property, we are no longer required a maintenance bond. And George is available for any questions.
Thank you very much. I'll open it up to the public first. Is there anyone in the public wish to be heard on this application? Seeing no hands, I will now ask any council members if they have questions. Anyone on my left, Mrs. Brown?
This is on Bordentown Road, you said?
Yes.
Okay. Can you describe what part of Bordentown? Is it closer to where the VFW is?
Waterworks Road.
Waterworks? Okay. It's back there. I don't know if you said that. And you said how big is it?
7,500 square feet is the total building,
Right.
3,750 on each floor. So the
Okay.
first floor is the warehouse, second floor is the office space.
Okay. Thank you.
And Council President, I just want to, I did see Bob McGowan is here, the attorney, if you wanted him to.
I'm here to answer any questions.
No, you can come forward,
Nothing else, you know.
absolutely. Yeah, no, Bob, absolutely.
I accept the report and the recommendation, certainly, and hope that you'll accept.
And thank you for being here to answer any questions for the council. Anyone else on my left have a question? Anyone on my right? Okay, seeing no hands, then I will ask for a motion.
Second.
Moved by Dr. Greenberg Belli, second by Mr. Rizzoli.
Mrs. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Cahill?
Yes.
And Dr. Greenberg?
Yes.
Mr. Merwin?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Pescetti?
Yes.
Mr. Rizzoli?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
President Soha?
Yes.
9 yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Have a nice evening. Thank you, gentlemen, for being here. You're welcome. Have a good evening. Only you have to stay, right? Okay, next will be Release Reduction Performance Guarantee, Lumbini LLC, 21 Angela Drive, Old Bridge, Block 9000, Lot 35.01.
Council, this was an application in front of our zoning board. It was for an office complex, and associated site improvements were a parking lot, also lighting, drainage work, improvements also to Angela Drive to extend it to the frontage of the office complex. It's located on Angela Drive, which is just a short block off of County Route 516, west of Route 9. The office complex is still currently being built, but the bonded improvements have been completed. So the on-site performance guarantee that was posted in the form of a bond was $157,167.76. 10% cash portion in the amount of $19,383.37. The off-site improvements, which was Angela Drive, was posted in bond form of $107,988.12. Cash portion of $7,448.70 was also posted for the off-site. There have been no previous reductions on the site, and the bonded improvements were inspected by my office, by Dave Hall, and he has found them all to be satisfactorily addressed. The only thing different on this type of project is because we have the off-site bonding for Angela Drive, we require a maintenance guarantee, and that's a maintenance guarantee of 15% of the total performance guarantee of the off-site, which is $17,315.52. Which would be due should the board then release the bonding. Also, any outstanding escrow fee and compliance with Freehold Soil Conservation District.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll open it up to the public. Is there anyone in the public who wishes to be heard? Seeing no hands, I will close the public portion.
Just for the record, counsel for the applicant, I think, is present.
I just want to recognize that A.J. Barthwell is the applicant and owner of the office building, and he is present if anybody would like to ask
Yeah, I know. But counsel can make his appearance, since it's an LLC, actually.
Of course, thank you. Good evening. William Bajer for the applicant, who's here tonight in the person of A.J. Barthwell, the principal of Lumbini. And we do obviously intend to provide the replacement bond, which is indicated in the engineer's report. That'll get put in place pretty quickly and get a copy of that to the board without delay.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions on my left for this gentleman? On my right? Okay. Do I have a motion?
I'll move it based on the professionals, that they're satisfied with it.
Second.
Second?
Second.
Okay, so it was Dr. Greenberg Belli, and Mr. Pescetti was the second on that.
Mrs. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Cahill?
Yes.
And Dr. Greenberg?
Yes.
Mr. Merwin?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy?
Abstain.
Mr. Pescetti?
Yes.
Mr. Rizzoli?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
President Soha?
Yes.
8 yes, 1 abstention.
Okay, we're all set. Thank you, gentlemen. Have a good evening.
You as well, thank you.
Next will be H4, Release Reduction Performance Guarantee, Michael Stasi, Red Shore Village, Residential Block 24000, Lot 39, application number 95-06Z, renotice of property owners, Hearing has been postponed. No new date at this time. Thank you. Next will be ordinances for second reading. Ordinance 1, 2019-07, mandating direct deposit of new pay for all municipal employees and elected officials pursuant to NJSA 52:14-15F et seq.
Move it.
Second.
Have to open it up to the public. Anyone in the public wish to be heard? Seeing no hands, I will close the public portion. I have a motion by Mrs. Walker and a second by Dr. Greenberg Belli.
Okay, Mrs. Brown?
Yes.
Excuse me, I'm sorry. Oh, okay, yeah. Go ahead, John.
A couple weeks ago, I opened copies of all vouchers and purchases orders for Prime Point, which is the Township payroll company, for 2018 and 2019 for paper checks processed for employees' payroll. Now, the reason I did that, I was told a while ago that there was a savings of, I don't know, 24 or 42,000, whatever it was. But I asked that the information include line and account numbers for all alleged money that it was paid from. What I received were copies of 2 invoices per month, or 1 invoice, it was only 1 meeting that month, from Prime Point to the town that was forwarded, said it right on there, to Amboy Bank for payment. After going through the budget books, there is no line item. This shows that there is no savings to the town. So I believe that's a farce, and I accept an apology, because where is the savings? We're not paying anything. And that's all I have to say, and I'm letting you know I'm voting no on this.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Murphy. Anyone else? Councilman Merwin.
Yeah. We've been being told that there's this significant savings if we go to this direct deposit. So I wanted to go back and check, and I requested records for the amount of employees that we had in 2012, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18, and 19. And then I also asked for the percentage of those employees that had direct deposit. And I was told that they don't have those records. Now, I don't know how you can say we're going to save all this money. We don't even know how many employees we have, or we don't know how many employees have direct deposit. It should have been an easy thing if we have 80% of our employees right now collecting or having direct deposit, then.
Councilman, you and I had a conversation. I told you that the records for all the prior years that you refer to, 11, 12, those records were not available. Who had direct deposit? Those, it has to be recompile everything. But we did provide you percentage. Those were discussed.
I didn't get any. Meeting. I didn't get any. So don't say that you provided me with, because I got zero.
I talked to you about it. I discussed with you, and I advised you that we do not have those records. For the current last year and current year, the number of currently, how many percentage of the employee, I think Avril had reported that. Even at the last meeting, it was provided, the information was provided.
Well, this has been going on now for what, a year and a half? So we should have at least 2.5, 3 years numbers. Do we have that? Do we have 2016, 17,
We have 18 and 19.
I just told you 18 and 19.
The percentage in 18 and 19, right? Okay.
Is what?
Good evening, Council. So for 2018, when we embarked on this, we had 75% of our full-time employees who were on direct deposit. And that's when we did, we sent out a memo, we sent out a survey, we to the employees, inform them about the benefits of direct deposit, and people start signing up. Currently, we have 91% of employees on direct deposit.
All right, so we have 91% currently from last year to this year? 75% to 91, so that's 16%. So where is that 16% being shown in the budget that we're getting that money?
This keeps coming back. It's like that fund balance and surplus in the budget, and it's the same thing. I reported this to you that the bank uses a compensating balance, and as a result, our interest incomes are restricted by the amount that they pay. The bank is not just going to say, oh, let me pay a Township of Old Bridge bills for free. So those are automatically reflected in our income when we reduce our costs that bank has to pay. I know some of you will not believe no matter what we say.
Well, that's not a matter of whether we not believe, and you know, don't start. Like, we can have this very nice civil conversation here. So don't start, you know. Where is the difference in the compensating balance between the 1 year to the next year when you have 16%? It should have shown something. We should show an increase into the money that we're getting. You know, this was the same thing when you told us we were going to save $150,000 when you were hired as the BA. And we were going to save your money, except that this one got a little bit of money, and
Mr.
that one got a
Merwin,
little bit of money,
excuse me.
and that one got a little bit of
Mr.
money.
Merwin,
and it
excuse
didn't
me,
come up to
but we
180.
are now going out into a different area.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
It's the
Mr.
exact
Merwin,
same thing.
we're talking about the direct deposit. There's a
Right.
motion and a second on the floor. Now
I
you're
have the
going
floor.
into a whole
And I
other
have
realm.
the floor.
No,
Please
I
quit
understand that,
interrupting
but
me.
you're not, no, quit interrupting.
Quit
You're talking
interrupting
to-
me, please.
You're
I am
talking
trying
to
to
the
find
chair.
out where these savings are coming from.
That is one thing to try to find that out, but
Oh,
to
but
start
I-
again with his
If
money
I have
and
to
his
go around
salary.
the corner to get to it, I'm going to.
Well, I
Please,
think it's
don't try
very.
to take my time. I'm trying to find out where this money,
I
this
didn't
alleged
say
savings is coming
you
from.
couldn't find out. What I'm saying is you're gone off topic. We're
I haven't
talking
gone off
about
topic.
direct
It's the same
deposit,
thing.
not his salary.
Yes, it's the same thing.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. Believe me.
No,
It's the
it's
same
not.
thing. It's being, we're told one thing and it's really, in reality, something else.
Enough.
I will make a motion to table.
We already have a
I have a
motion
motion
on the
to
floor.
table.
We have a motion and a second. on
I
the
have a
floor.
motion to table.
Mr. Attorney,
Let's see, motion.
The table takes precedence.
1 minute.
Council President, if I may, the savings, it's less fees that are being collected by the bank. We're getting charged less fees. That's what these so-called savings are. And if you look in the budget, you will see an increase, Mr. Merwin, and the interest on income is greater in 19 than it was in 18, and that's where
what I've been
the money
asking for,
is.
Mayor, and nobody's giving it to me.
Saying
He
that
keeps
it's
saying
less
it, but he has
fees.
not given it to me.
Less fees have been collected by the bank.
Mayor,
And that
I asked that
equals
put it in
savings.
writing and show us. That's all I asked. I've been asking for this.
I don't know the line item in the
Well,
budget, but if you
exactly.
look between the two lines, 18 and 19, you'll see a difference. You'll see an increase.
Well, how do I know it's from that?
Because we're telling you that the bank charges these fees for processing. They're charging less for direct deposit.
Why did it take all this time for you to nobody has shown us that in writing.
Uncle.
Again, I have a motion to table on the table.
Actually, you had a motion and a second on the original motion, and you have to take that vote first to see if that passes, and after, if it's defeated, if it's defeated,
Excuse me?
The person who makes the motion is the person who can ask for a motion. That's the person who moved it. Not another party can't overturn somebody else's motion to table it.
Right.
Okay, everyone's in
Let's be civil, let's go to a vote. Mrs. Chairman,
Yes.
could I speak a minute?
All right, I'll give you another one bite of the apple, then we're going to move
Here's
on.
my problem. Well, it's not really a problem. I spoke to about 6 or 7 employees, just to get an idea from them. We were told by Avril that they were all surveyed. They said they were never surveyed. And I can't say she's wrong or they're wrong, but half of Public Works does not have, it's about half that don't subscribe to to this thing. Now, these are people who have gone through a lot of hard times themselves because they're working harder because of what happened. They've been so good to us by staying and doing their work. How can we now turn it back on them? It's mostly older people. They don't have checkbooks, you know, and you're not going to be able to tell them what to do. A lot of them keep money in certain envelopes. You can't direct them how to do it. It's technology they're never going to get used to. They'll be gone in 3 years. Bring it up then. I just feel that, you know, it's something that they've had, and I don't believe that it's something we can just take away now. And that's how I feel. I'm done.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Murphy.
So the attorney has ruled that the motion to table does not take precedence?
Correct.
Okay. We're going to put that in the memory bank now.
Okay.
Okay, so Stella, you have the motion and the second.
Mrs. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Kao?
Yes.
Dr. Greenberg?
Yes.
Mr. Merwin?
No.
Mr. Murphy?
No.
Mr. Pescetti?
Yes.
Mr. Rizzoli?
No. No.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
President Soha?
Yes.
6 yes, 3 no.
Okay, next will be preliminary public comments to council subject to the following conditions and restrictions. During the preliminary public portion of the meeting, any person may address the Township Council on any subject matter for a maximum period of 5 minutes. Any such person desiring to speak during the preliminary public portion shall first sign a list maintained by the Township Clerk for such purpose. Comments during the preliminary public comment portion of the meeting shall not encompass second reading ordinances or any other matter for which comment or a public hearing is to occur at the meeting.
Okay. Alicia Brandt?
Hi, thank
Good
you so
evening.
much for allowing us to speak. I'm Alicia Brandt. This is my husband, Eric Brandt. We live in Redshaw Boulevard, Redshaw Village specifically. It's right off of Englishtown Road by Texas Road. And I wanted to talk to you today about a dump site that is occurring in our backyards. I'm here joined by my neighbors as well. We moved into the community, just to give you a quick background, about 4 years ago. It's all new construction. It's 21 homes, all wooded lots, and we've been very happy there since. However, in the last year or so, there's been a dump site that's been growing larger and larger in my backyard and my neighbor's backyard specifically. This is a dump site that is in back of Arby's Landscaping, if you know that establishment. It's currently vacant. It's been vacant for a number of years. It's completely deteriorated and dilapidated. So therefore, there's no oversight with what's taking place in the back of that building. The people who have been subletting that land from Arby's has completely gone rogue. They have piles and piles of debris. They have construction vehicles. They have construction barricades. They're grinding debris every day. They have excavators, large container boxes. That is all clearly visible from my backyard and my neighbor's backyard. Our problem with this is that we've been told by our town engineer that they have no permits to do a lot of this business. It's growing larger and encroaching on our backyards. And I'm here today to ask the town if there's anything we can do to clean up this land and push them out. Is there anything you want to add?
No, I think just to add a bit to that, it's, you know, first and foremost, is the operations legal, what they're doing? And if so, are they in compliance with whatever permits they do have? And what's the environmental impact? So we have a 2- and 4-year-old, and they're grinding, so there's a lot of dust coming into the air. If they're dropping construction material there, it's being broken down. What maybe impact does that have to the environment? You know, as homeowners, we of course go through the permit process here, which you know, it's quite diligent, and it seems a bit contradictory that we see this quote unquote a dump right on the other side of our property continuing to expand. So we just, yeah, and as Alicia said, looking for some support here to address, to see if this is actually illegal operations and what we can do to perhaps remove it.
Yeah, and the other thing I'll add is that we did talk to a realtor, and the realtor did inform us that our property value is in fact going down in addition to the community's home values, because this dump site, as it's so large now, is visible once you enter our community. So it was once a beautiful wooded area, forest, trees. We had never seen anything, to this effect. That's now just completely overpowering and overtaking our community, and we definitely want an action.
Council President, this matter has been, we have spoken to the residents. We have, the zoning officer and the construction official has addressed this with the property owner, cited with the violations. Currently, it's, the matter is in front of the court. And we have to, we have to wait for the court to take the rulings on that before we can take an action. So, yes, Township has done what we could do in terms of notifying the owners, asking them to make sure that they, come in front of the board and issue a notice of violations, and that's just pending in the court.
Excuse me, I just have a question. So the people that are doing the dumping don't own the property?
I believe the property owner, and Nicole, correct me, but the property owner has rented a property to another operators to operate.
But still, an owner has an obligation
Yes.
on who you rent it to, and that owner should be addressed, go to the owner and let the people that she's renting to
Yeah, we can
stop.
we address it with the owner, and the notice of violation is being to the owner, not to the.
The owner.
Yeah.
Yeah. The notice of violation did go to the owner. The owner was supposed to appear in court on April 23rd in South River. But unfortunately, there was a conflict between the attorney and the judge. Am I correct? Mark, do you remember? I don't remember which.
It was a prosecutor had a conflict, that's why it's moved to South River.
Right, so now there's a new date. I don't have the new date at this moment, but our zoning officer was working directly with the property owner to see if we can get this contracting yard, so to say, off the property. Now, the use that was on this site has historically been there when it was a nursery and has expanded without approvals. And so now what Alicia and her husband are seeing and the neighbors are seeing in Red Shaw Village is it just slowly creeping and expanding. And so that's what we're trying to address. One, the illegal non-conforming use that hasn't been approved by either our zoning board, and two, the expansion of this not permitted use on site, and that we deal directly with the property owner.
The thing that will be a concern to me is if they are, they have to cease and desist, it's not a conformant permitted use there, then it's going to be the owner of the property going after people that they rented to clean it up.
Yes.
Then how long is that going to take to clean it up? And
Well, that's why we're in court.
Yeah,
that's why we're in court, because it's not a simple solution. We issued a notice of violation, so we're coming at them in every single way. My hope is that, the owner is translating, and I believe she is, based on conversations I've had with the zoning officer. Unfortunately, my office doesn't give those notice of violations. It comes from our construction code official and code enforcement that does that. But, we're all working together to try and get the situation cleaned up. I've never seen it like that.
Sure, because the concern would be, to me, the people are rent and say, hey, I'm out of here. And then the owner's left with expense of cleaning it up, and how long that's going to take. And so it's really a very disconcerting problem, because the owner of the property is ultimately responsible. She should be aware, or he, or whoever, what they're doing on the property. There's been some surveillance of what's going on. And, like you say, it's expanded.
She is aware now.
I just want to ask, at least are they stopping, moving forward, doing more damage since it's in court, while we're waiting for the court date?
I mean, I have to assume that they are. I mean, I don't know.
Are they continuing?
Activity on the site, I don't think they're clearing trees at
No,
this
no,
point.
I meant, are they still bringing more construction debris and things while they're waiting to go to court? Is there anything we
Sure.
could do to at least stop that? Can't we do a cease and desist?
I mean, I would have to talk to the construction code official on what, the procedures are. I mean, legally, what we can do.
I did speak to him about it, and that was the conversation I had this morning, is saying, what is our remedies to stop? And there is you have to go to the Superior Court for injunctive release before the court date is, court hearing takes place. It's a lengthy process. By that time, we're hoping that we'll have the court date in May, by May 10th or May 14th is the date. But it's going to, you all know, Superior Court, going there, it's just filing it, getting a date, it's going to be a long process. Unfortunately, we have to, our hands are tied with that, with the court timing.
So my question is, once again, directed to you, if this is not a permitted use, does our code enforcers penalize them daily? Is there a?
Well, there is a penalty, yes. There is penalty assessed, but ultimately it will be court deciding those.
Mr. Murphy, were you
Yes.
motioning?
I've been working with them for a little over 2 months now. The pictures don't show anything. It's much, much worse than that, believe me. It was not used by RB for the same reason. He used it for garbage. That thing was emptied every week or two. This one, I don't know if there's chemicals in there. I don't know what's in there. Cans, there's a bunch of stuff. Now, Mr. Amacho had called me up when they were supposed to go to court, and he said to me, well, we can't go, this judge wasn't going to do it. We had to bring it to our court. He says, but that's going to be tough. He goes, but I'm going to try to schedule a date. And I said, okay. So then I said, well, listen. I said, let me go talk to Mrs. Butler. He said he talked to Mrs. Butler about something, and she was saying she can't get him out of there. I was a little confused why he said that, but even she can't get him to leave for some reason, and from what I understand, she can't make him leave. So I said, well, I'm going to go talk to her. And he says to me, he says, well, you go talk to her, but she's a very unstable woman. I've known her a long time. I don't see that. I do not see that. And I don't think he should have said that to me or to anybody else.
Okay.
So,
right.
Whatever we have to do here.
Are you kidding me?
Oh, my gosh.
Having a conversation with you is
Murphy,
why
calm
difficult.
down.
I never said, I never used, I don't even know Mrs. Butler, I never spoke to her. I would not use those words.
You told me that she couldn't get the people off the property.
I did not say that to you. Somebody else must have.
You know what? Again, I don't want to say.
Mr. Murphy, please
John, please
be
control
refrained,
yourself.
because
Please control yourself.
you're falsely accusing me,
Yeah.
and be refrained.
Yeah, we're trying.
And this is the problem. You want to attack an employee because you don't like somebody.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'm sorry about that. I apologize to the public for this. Yeah, yes. Go ahead, Mr. Rizzo. He had not
How you
asked a
doing?
question.
Alicia, quick question. Are those dump trucks coming in there dumping and
Yes.
whatnot? May quick suggestion maybe, I don't want to step on the police department, the state, we can request a weight team to come in. They do that quite often when you have dump sites like this where the truck's coming in. Someone's for an overweight vehicle with tires that aren't up to snuff, it's like $100,000, which we are entitled to make a request for the state police to come in by any area, especially dumps where there's large dump trucks and whatnot. They weigh them. I mean, I've seen it before, at least $100,000, and they inspect the tires, because trucks like that supposed to have a specific amount of rubber on the tire and everything. We could use that also as a deterrent, and it's legal too.
Okay.
One other thing, is there any way if the owner doesn't want this activity on their property, that they could put a chain across it and stop entry to the property, lock it?
Yeah.
And a gate, just lock the gate? I mean, that makes the most sense. It would stop in an instant. So, I'm sure that, the business administrator and the mayor will have the code enforcers
Yeah.
out there.
Yes, yes. Thank you very
Thank
much
you
for
for bringing it to
coming.
our attention.
Thank you for
So
coming
sorry.
and for giving us the information. I'm sorry it got a little, but
Thank you.
hopefully we'll be able to get things right. Anyone else from the public, Stella?
No, that's it.
Okay, seeing no more public, we'll close the public portion. And now we're going to council member comments. I will start on my left for comments. Anyone? On my right, Mrs. Greenberg.
Okay. I just want to, it's more of a public announcement, because I know there are some residents that are getting bills from the MUA that are estimated. And like myself, a lot of times I don't read the bill, I just pay it. But if you have a little E on your bill, it means that it's estimated. So the MUA, just for information, has a meter reading system which utilizes radio frequency transmission of the count information through a transponder. It's very similar to Easy Pass. And this was instituted because it saved the MUA manpower and a lot of money. So we can read the meters literally in 3 days by driving around all the streets to gather the data and information, and that's how they process a bill. Where before we had multiple employees going every day to a house or a residence or a business to read all the meters in Township. So in the year 2000, it was instituted to get these transponders. But the battery life on them are about 8 to 9 years. That's just an average. So when the battery goes out, when the vehicle rides by, it does not transmit a number. So they send you a bill that's estimated based on your past history. And so what happens is you're supposed to reach out to the MUA and let them know that you have an estimated bill, and they'll come and replace the transponder. But a lot of times this isn't getting through, so you get much time can go by that you'll get an estimated bill. So the MUA has been notifying residents or businesses that the transponder needs to be replaced by indicating that estimation, that E on your bill. And now separate letters are being sent out because of the lack of response of the notification that they put on the bill to reach out to them to schedule a time to put a new transponder in. And the estimated billing is based on the home or the business historical use. And so when the transponder's replaced, it actually still records the actual amount of number that went through the meter. So sometimes the bill will go up or it will go down. So if you could look carefully at your bill, if you have an estimate on there in E, please call 732-566-2534 to schedule an appointment to replace this transponder. What happens a lot of times then when people do get the bill, they're very upset that so much time has gone by. But if you can imagine going through the whole town, they're replacing them as they fail. So please look at your bill. If there is an E, then please reach out to them anyway, and they'll come and change your transponder battery. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Dr. Greenberg Belli. Is there anyone else for council comments? Okay, I'll do Mr. Piscetti and then you, Mr. Merwin.
I had a couple complaints from residents on East Greystone Road. They were saying that Texas Road gets closed and there's a detour that goes through there. I guess that's Woodhaven that's building there. And on the weekends, they're supposed to cover up the signs so the detour is back, opened again. And he's saying that it's not, they're not doing that. And even over the Easter holiday, trucks like tractor trailers are coming down, and it was a little annoying. So, should I send an email about that?
No, Councilman Piscetti, so the covering of the sign is just on, let's say, Texas Road as you're approaching Marlborough Road to start that detour. So the bags would be covered along Texas Road, but the entire detour, all the signage wouldn't be bagged, because then it would take too long for the contractor to constantly bag and debag. So what he does is he bags the ones that lead you to the detour. Now, I can't stop a tractor trailer from going down East Greystone Road. Same on the opposite approach. As you're coming down Texas Road from, let's say, the Monroe side, and you're approaching the intersection of like 527 and Texas Road, it alerts you to make a left or a right, depending on where you're going, but those signs should be bagged. And they're intermittent bags. So it's not that all the signs would be bagged. There was a complaint that came in that, I believe to the mayor's office, that there was a lot of backup on 527 for the detour on one of the days. Now, I had called traffic safety and said, is anything unusual happening? Was anything going on? I called the contractor. Did the milling machine break or anything? And they were unaware of any delays. But I could certainly talk to our traffic control and make sure that they're moving people along a little bit quicker. It's just during rush hour or during heavy traffic in the afternoon, when you're crossing 527 to come southbound from East Greystone Road, I think that's where the bottlenecking is, because people have to wait for a gap in traffic for them to cross it.
Is there a weight limit on East Greystone Road? Like a 4-ton limit for that road?
There is a 4-ton weight limit on that road in our books, but it's the closest detour that I could have.
So there's no choice?
No.
Okay.
I can't have them go through the residential development, so, I mean, I have to have them go through the closest roadway to detour.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Merwin, did you have comments?
Please, thank you. Do we have an update on the demolition of the senior building?
It's scheduled starting next week, I think second week of May, but I will be sending out that alert. Matt Scott. Matt.
Councilman Merwin, they are going to start on Monday. Next Monday, we did reach out to the Board of Education today, asked them to move the bus stops for at least 2 weeks. I think they plan on moving it to in front of St. Lawrence Church.
Okay, great, thank you. And just on my way in, one of the residents from Ocean Boulevard grabbed me and was complaining about speeding again. And Kyle, you got that sinkhole, right? All right. How long does that take? Because it's right at a school bus stop, right at a playground.
We called the mark out in today. It usually takes 5 to 7 days for the mark out to clear, and then we can perform the repairs.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, are you through? All right, anyone else on my left? On my right? All right, I will just say, in closing, I had the pleasure of being last Saturday at the Special Olympics. It was here in Old Bridge at Lombardi Field, and it's an amazing thing to watch. The kids were so excited. It's the Middlesex County Region 5, and Karen Lewicki is in charge of it, and she is it's just incredible the amount of excitement that she gets, and has these children all doing all kinds of races and events, and all the volunteers. There were several young people that volunteered as well. So I just wanted to say that was really just amazing. And then the week before, we had the Shops of Old Bridge. We had the kickoff of the Spring Fling for local businesses. The mayor was there, the Easter Bunny. He did reading to the children, and they gave out quite a few bags, to the people with all kinds of little goodies in it. So it was a very, very nice event. And I think that this, small business and Spring Fling Week was good for our businesses. It shows that we care, that we're interested in that keeping them, and, making sure that the town has a good, rapport with all the businesses in town. Thank you.
Chairman?
Yes.
Yeah. I just want to apologize. I wanted to go to Special Olympics, and I complained about it last time. But the way the thing was written up, it looked like it was going to be Sunday. And I actually changed all my stuff on Sunday, and then I found out it was Saturday the next day. So I'm sorry for not showing up. I heard everything went well, and it was a great time.
Nice
Okay.
event. Thank you, John. Anyone else? Okay, so.
Wait, one thing, no, it's okay. I just forgot, we also went on Saturday to the Bark for Life. It
Oh,
was
yes,
an
yes,
amazing
very good,
turnout
yes.
of, I guess there were several hundred people there, and the mayor came with his 3 dogs, and we helped him
That's
walk them. They were a little overwhelming, but it was a great turnout for the relay.
Yeah, it was, you're right. We have a great community. We really do. lot going on. Okay. Next will be report of the township clerk.
None at this time, thank you.
Thank you. Report of the township attorney.
Nothing to report, thank you.
Thank you. Administrative report, Mr. Shaw.
Thank you, Council President. Administrative report for April 29, 2019. Item number 1, 2019 annual road resurfacing. Bids were received and opened in public on Wednesday, April 25th, 2019 at 9:30 a.m. for the 2019 annual road resurfacing contract number 2018-34. 7 contractors submitted bids that range from $1,357,740.70 to $1,718,000. P&A Construction, Inc. is the lowest bidder at $1,357,740.70. Award of their contract has been included on tonight's consent agenda for approval by council. Construction is anticipated to begin early summer of 2019. The project is funded to 2019 bond ordinance. Item number 2, 2019 Spring Leaf Collection. Spring Leaf Collection begins this week, April 29, 2019, in Ward 1 and 2 and 3, and the week of May 6, 2019, in Ward 4, 5, and 6. All leaves should be placed at the curb in paper bags. For additional information, residents should call 732-721-5600, extension 6140, or email publicworks@oldbridge.com. Item number 3, summer camp program. Sign up for Camp Robin Summer Camp will take on Wednesday, May 1st, 2019 at 6 p.m. Sign up for half-day summer camp will take place on Wednesday, May 8, 2019 at 6 p.m. Both registrations are online only. For more information, please check the recreation website at www.oldbridge.com/recreation. Item number 4, second quarter tax payments. The Township Division of Tax Collection will be open Monday to Friday between hours of 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. during the second quarter tax collection period. The tax office will also be open between the hours of 9 a.m. and 1 p.m. on Saturday, May 4, 2019, and between hours of 8 a.m. and 7 p.m. on Friday, May 10, 2019. The last day to pay the taxes without interest or penalty is May 10th. Payment received after May 10th will accrue interest back to statutory due date of May 1st. For additional information, residents should contact Division of Tax Collection at extension 2999. Item number 5, Mayor Henry's Clean Team. On Saturday, May 4, 2019, Mayor Henry and volunteers from Old Bridge Soccer League Panthers, Vipers, Punishers, and Shepherd's Elementary School will clean up various roadways throughout the town. The location of cleanups will be determined closer to the date based on the road condition. Local groups and organizations can contact Clean Community Coordinator at extension 6107 or email recycling@oldbridge.com for further information. Item number 6, 2016 Homestead Rebate Program. The 2016 Homestead Rebate was applied to the second quarter tax payment due in May of 2019. Revised tax bills for qualified homeowners were mailed out during the first week in April. For additional information, residents should contact the New Jersey Division of Taxation at 888-238-1233 or the Office of Tax Collector at extension 2999. Item number 7, Mayor Office of Economic Development update. Pat Oasis on Route 34 had its grand opening on April 4th, where Mayor Henry cut the ribbon to kick things off. Also in April, the shoppers at Old Bridge partnered with the Office of Economic Development to launch the Big Spring Fling event on April 13, 2019. The kickoff party at the shoppers was well attended, and kids played with Easter Bunny, and parents walked away with shopping bags stuffed with coupons and giveaways from a wide variety of local businesses to encourage all to shop locally. Up next will be Bridge to Business Expo, which is scheduled for Wednesday, June 26, 2019 at Grand Marquis. More information on this event will follow as we get closer to the date.
Thank you,
That
Mr.
concludes
Shaw.
the report.
Thank you. Anyone have any comments from the council? I'll ask for a motion to approve it. Okay, moved by Dr. Greenberg Belli, second by Mrs. Walker.
Mrs. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Cahill?
Yeah.
Dr. Greenberg?
Yes.
Mr. Merwin?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy?
Dais?
Mr. Biscotti?
Yes.
Mr. Rizzoli?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
President Soha?
Yes.
8 yes.
Next will be our consent agenda. I would like to ask first for a motion and a second, and then bring it out to the public and back for separations from council. Moved by Mr. Merwin, second by Mr. Rizzoli. Is there anyone out in the public that would like to be heard on any consent agenda items this evening? Seeing no hands, I will close the public portion, and I will ask for separations. Mr. Merwin?
Yeah, number one, just for abstention only.
Okay. Anyone on this side? Mr. Biscotti? Is that a hand? Okay.
C21.
What did you say?
C21. Okay. Anyone else? All right. It's moved and seconded, so we'll vote on it. The balance.
The balance?
Congratulations.
Yep.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Boy or a girl? No. All right. Can we have
Okay,
a
on
call?
the balance?
Yes,
Mrs.
please, Stella.
Mrs. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Cahill? Dr. Greenberg?
Yes.
Mr. Merwin?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Biscotti?
Yes.
Mr. Rizzoli?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker? President Soha?
Yes.
9 yes.
Okay. C1, I need a motion for that.
Second.
Okay, moved by Mr. Rizzoli, second by Mrs. Walker.
Mrs. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Cahill?
Yes.
And Dr. Greenberg?
Yes.
Mr. Merwin?
As per the attorney, I should abstain.
Correct, thank you, Mr. Merwin.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Biscotti?
Yes.
Mr. Rizzoli?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
President Soha?
Yes.
8 yes, 1 abstention.
C21, Mr. Pescetti.
Can I get some clarification from legal, what the ramifications of this is, number one?
Yeah, sure.
And number two, I read this, and it seems, it was a little misleading, I thought. It said if certain conditions were met, then the permits would be awarded in the first paragraph, and then the second paragraph went on to say other things. So can you just clarify that for me?
Say what? So again, this, if you recall, the last council meeting, Mr. Merwin asked that this be moved up for adoption based on vote. There was enough votes because of the number of abstentions. So basically, the background, there's various permits that are pending that have to be approved by basically DEP as part of the Northeast Supply Enhancement Project, which is the fracking gas line that'll go through Old Bridge and across the Raritan. So what's your question? I'm sorry, Mr. Pescetti.
Yeah, the way the way it's worded,
Where?
your first paragraph.
Okay. What's in the first?
It was just confusing to me because the first paragraph says if,
The first whereas are you talking about?
it's saying, if all the, if everything is met, if all the,
Are you talking about the first whereas paragraph?
yeah.
Okay.
So, okay, so if this gets approved, if we approve this tonight,
So basically what you're doing is, the point of this is that there's a public comment period that was expanded until, there was a public comment period that was expanded up until May 2nd, which is Thursday. And so there have been public hearings, there's been discussions, so that anyone who wants to provide public comment relative to the issuing of this permits is permitted to do it. What this resolution does is it urges the DEP to review those permits, and to the extent that Transco is unable to provide the necessary documentation, support, information, doesn't meet the requirements of the rules and regulations, that they deny the issuance of those permits.
Okay, thank you.
That's the purpose. And so what it does is it lets the DEP know that the council's not in supportive of the process, that they have to ensure that there's oversight, and that to the extent that if their permits are to be issued, that they meet all the requirements of the both federal, state regulations.
Okay, I'll move it.
All right, you'll move it, Mr. Pescitti?
Yes.
Okay, second? Do I have a second for it?
He's asking for a second.
I'm asking for a second?
C21.
Okay, second by Mr. Merwin, then.
Didn't myself and Dr. Greenberg request a presentation on this? I thought when this was discussed, didn't we request someone to come in and do a presentation? I thought we did. We did. Okay. I just want to make sure.
This is about the permits.
Right,
Yeah, right, the permits are really, yeah, that state stuff. Okay.
Mrs. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Cahill?
Yes.
Dr. Greenberg?
Yes.
Mr. Merwin?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy? Mr. Pescetti?
Yes.
Mr. Rizzoli?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
President Soha?
Yes.
9 yes.
Ordinances, there are no ordinances for first reading. Discussion ordinance, DO1, authorizing a traffic signal at the intersection of Texas Road, CR 520, and Englishtown Road, County Road 527. Mrs. Shapiro.
Council President, Council, this is almost like a mere formality. Everybody knows that the signalized intersection of 527 and Texas Road has always been there. The developer for Woodhaven had enhanced it by doing some slight widening, ADA ramps, updating the traffic signal equipment, the signal heads, the mast arms, and the electrical components that go along with it. DOT and the county requires that there's a new timing chart that's developed for it, and an as-built plan for the signal itself then be developed for it, which the developer has done. The county won't accept the maintenance responsibility from the developer unless there's a resolution, such as the one in front of you, ordinance, that says basically that it's going to be maintained by the county, and the electrical bill gets paid by us.
Well, actually, the ordinance is required in order to have the light, because it's in our municipality. The ordinance is required by state statute because it's in our municipality. So one of the requirements in order to have the lighted intersection is the fact that the township adopted an ordinance acknowledging and authorizing the installation of the traffic light. We've done this in the past. These are two county roads, the intersection, so if you saw the background, the township entered into a tri-party agreement with the developer and the county and the township, where based upon the requirements of the county approval, the developer was required to make certain off-site improvements, one of those being this traffic signal. The traffic signal's already been built. And then in order for that process to be completed, DOT requires that the township adopt the ordinance basically approving the construction of the lighted intersection. So that's what this does.
Okay, thank you. Any council member have any comment? Mr. Murphy?
Yeah, so this is just a replacement, not to put another light there, too.
The light, yeah, this is sort of a little backward. I think the way the construction was, but the light that's out there, this is to acknowledge that light and the fact that the developer was required to build it, and this authorizes them to build it, install it, rather, I should say, in Old Bridge.
Anyone else for a comment or a question? All right, see, okay.
I'll move it till we.
Right, so now you want to, so we're all here.
Right.
Well, see the process, right? So we have it as a discussion item because it hasn't been discussed before.
I moved it for first reading.
I know, but wait a minute, I just want to explain so we're all.
School's in session, 1 second.
So we're all clear on this.
Okay.
Since this is a pet peeve of mine. So it hasn't been discussed before, we drafted one, so you discuss it. Now that it's been discussed and it's drafted, now you have the ability to move it for introduction since it was only listed as a discussion item, right? But when there's no ordinance drafted, there's nothing to move. So remember that. Make sure you have something in front of you in order to do it. So, Mr. Merwin, I'm sorry, Councilman Merwin made a motion to move it up for introduction.
Yep.
Second, Mr. Rizzoli.
Mrs. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Cahill?
Yes.
And Dr. Greenberg?
Yes.
Mr. Merwin?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Pescetti?
Yes.
Mr. Rizzoli?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
President Soha?
Yes.
9 yes.
Okay, we're good?
Yep, public hearing will be at the next
Right. Meeting.
council meeting.
Okay, next will be public comments on any subject matter. Is there anyone who wishes to be heard? Good evening.
Philip McGovern, 201 Yorkshire Court in Society Hill. I went to New York last week, and I took the bus at Westminster Boulevard. On the way home, the bus stops on the southbound side, and to get your car, you cross from the southbound over the bridge to the northbound side. The walk over the bridge is nothing but garbage on the side, bottles, cans. It looks really bad, and whoever is responsible should clean it up. Thank you.
Thank you very much for letting us know. Okay, anyone else in the public? Seeing no hands, I will close the public portion, and now council comments. Anyone on my left for a comment? Mr. Merwin?
Yes, just for the clerk, hopefully, the public period ends May 2nd, we get that resolution into them, to the.
Yeah, I already have I have the address, we're overnight it, Chris already has it, so tomorrow, we'll send out overnight mail to.
Very good, thank you.
Right, anyone else on my left for a comment? On my right? Dr. Greenberg?
Yes, at the last meeting, I asked about the mass assembly, and it was supposed to be brought to the attorney. Have anything on that, Mr. Moore?
No, I was planning on scheduling a meeting sometime this week to do the finalization to give it to the attorney.
Thank you.
Okay, anyone else for comments? All right, then I will close the council comments, and I will ask for a motion for adjournment.
Move it.
Move it.
Second.
Second. Dr. Walker, Dr. Greenberg, Mr. Rizzoli.
Did you take a vote? All aye? No.
Mrs. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Cahill? Dr. Greenberg?
Yes.
Mr. Merwin?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy? Mr. Pescetti?
Yes.
Mr. Rizzoli?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
President Soha?
Yes.
9 yes.